We'll start with Naukar mantra. Om Hrim Namo Arhantanam. Om Hrim Namo Siddhanam. Om Hrim Namo Ayaniyanam. Om Hrim Namo Uvajjayanam. Om Hrim Namo Loe Sarvasahunam. Eso Panchanamukaro Sarvapavanasano Mangalancha Sarvesin Padamam Harimangalam. Padamam Harimangalam. My reverence to the purest soul, Bhagwan Mahavir. My reverence to the Guru, Acharya Tulsi. Now, when I say reverence to Bhagwan Mahavir and reverence to Acharya Tulsi, there is a special purpose behind it. What's the purpose? We intended to give you a very good package of spirituality. You had some sessions yesterday, and to make it different, the day is different, the weather is different, we are not the same as we were yesterday. So with the difference in that, we added a different kind of session today. So this is a textual study. It's a text composed by Acharya Tulsi, and it is called Adhyatma Padavali. So when we are receiving something from someone, we become first, we be humble, and then with our humbleness, the message comes to us basically. So we'll take a few moments to express our humbleness towards Acharya Tulsi by doing a mantra session of him. So, Jai Tulsi, Jai Tulsi, Jai Tulsi, Jai. 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 What is Adhyatma? The word Adhyatma means spiritual. And then after the word Adhyatma, Acharya Sri has mentioned the word Padavali. What is the word Pad mean? Steps. Anything else it could mean? Yeah. Any verse which is composed, it has Pad. It means like a portion of the verse is called Pad. And Avali means line. So it is a series of verses in this text which we are going to look into. The first is मूल श्रुति है धर्म का आत्मा की पहचान एक ही साधे सब सधे यही परम विज्ञान. It's in Hindi, but I also tried to give you a general English meaning of it. So the root source of religion is experience of soul. If one controlled all, if one is controlled, all is controlled, and this is the ultimate science. My question to you is, does society come first or religion?
Society first. You live with the society.
So how many would vote for society? If you trace back into history and go to Bhagwan Rishabdev, the time period of Rishabdev was when the human beings actually had a transition time. They were living a jungle life, a forest life, a natural life. Jungle life doesn't mean undisciplined life. Jungle life here means a naturally disciplined life. It's a very different notion of natural life, the animistic life, which we have the other theories around here. So, living in the jungle, they were not like beasts or animals. They did not consume animals. They lived by the nature, just survived with the trees. With that, when the transition came, when the forest was not enough for the natural survival of people, Bhagwan Rishabh became the first king and he established the society. The social structure was constructed and then came in first time the rules, regulations, laws, marriage, everything came into being. And after that, what was his next step? He detached from everything, became the first sadhu. So you see here that even Bhagwan Rishabh, he first formulated the society and then constructed the spiritual path. Now, why was this crucial? Didn't religion exist before Bhagwan Rishabh? It did?
Yes, must have. We have 24 choices all the time.
So when we to look into our timeline, before Bhagwan Rishabh, when people lived in the jungle or the natural life, they were naturally disciplined. So an effort of practicing spirituality wasn't there. An effort of being like doing samayik or doing meditation or doing mantra session or reading the scriptures, it did not exist. They were not naturally non-violent. They naturally they were not greedy. They were naturally calm people. They were naturally living a peaceful life. So neither was violence existing then, neither kind of an extreme path of spirituality existed there. When everything is in moderation, you don't need anything. But if that moderation, I mean, if that when everything is peaceful, do you remember God?
No, in troubles we remember.
So when before Bhagwan Rishabh, everything was peaceful. They didn't think of liberation, they didn't think of anything. And because of that natural life, even Jainism believed that they would always end up into heaven. The people at that time would always go into heaven. But once there was violence came up, when we talk about question, we question our lives, we question our surroundings. When do we question when does the question arise? When we are in trouble. Why this happened to me, right?
When there's a conflict.
And when there is a conflict, we question. And when there is a question, there is a curiosity of spirituality, and that curiosity opens the path of liberation or moksha. So here, the question of liberation or who am I did not exist before that. Everything was peaceful, happy, going. They were born with a golden spoon, not in the sense of golden spoon as such, but they were not greedy for more than what they had. So when this transition comes about, the path of spirituality is opened up. So here, the statement is, the key source of religion is experience of soul. Now my next question for this is, I have 3 questions raised. First, religion for society. We now understand very well, right? I mean, it was society which was established first, and then the path of spirituality presented to us. The next question is religion for society, for morality, for global peace?
Religion for society. It follows automatically from there.
Okay.
I think it's for all 3.
All 3. Anyone who would say that this is not the, this statement is not a complete statement or a fulfilled statement?
One can
In
evaluate.
fact, none of the statement is true, because these are material things. Spiritual is quite different from any of the 3 items.
I'll give you one example here. nowadays when we talk about our Jainism, right? There's a lot of emphasis on environmentalism. And we all make a claim that Jainism votes for global peace or for environmental survival, and we are eco-friendly religion. Is this a right claim? Yes, it is a right claim, no doubt about it. But is the purpose of Jainism to make sure that the environment survives? No.
That could not have been the original concept at that time, because probably problems of this nature that we see today did not exist in those times.
The problem was there. The problem was the natural resources started depleting. At that time, Rishabh Bhagwan formulated the society. So he constructed the society, he formulated the spiritual path. The society was constructed for the well-being of the social people, for the well-being of a peaceful living, for the well-being of a good survival. So the question of survival was key force when he structured the society. But when he formulated the spiritual path, the concern was not the survival of the society, but the survival of a spiritual soul. So when we make a claim that religion is for society, yes, religion does help society to a great extent. But then the key purpose is not social good. The key purpose is spiritual good. Because when we say that Jainism is for environmentalism, Jainism is for global peace, suppose we have a conference on global peace, and if we analyze all different religions, we actually went to just Vatican few days back, right? Pope actually delivered a small piece of lecture in our presence, and he said a beautiful statement. He said that we are considering the earth as Mother Earth, but we should not consider the earth as Mother Earth. He said we should consider the earth as Sister Earth. What does that mean? It means that we have brothers and sisters' existence is equal, right? I mean, both have equal role or equal existence or equal significance in this world. So, similar to that, we should consider the earth as Sister Earth and consider the earth as equally important as we are. It's a very important claim which comes from Pope. A religion, it's Christianity at the behind of the Pope, right? When you look into the statement, we already have the statement within Jainism, right? Jainism believes that all souls are equal, whether it's a plant, a stone, me, anyone for that matter, we have equal existence. So the theory of equal existence is the core foundation of Jainism. But when we say that why this theory is important, it does help society because we do not go for discrimination. I mean, I don't say that we don't go, but this should help us not discriminate. It is for moral good. It is for global peace. It helps. But ultimate purpose is not this. There is, during the time period of Bhagwan Mahavir, there was a yajnas performed. And you're familiar with that? What would they do in the yajna?
Sacrifice.
Burn the fire, offer some herbs, chant the mantras, and it is also said they would offer sometimes animals. Fine. The scholars say that Bhagwan Mahavir brought this religion Jainism as a resistance to this yajnas. It is a violent path, and Bhagwan contradicted this violence by bringing in Jain religion into being. How many would agree to this? Did Bhagwan bring up Jainism to resist the violence of yajnas?
Yes.
There has to be a reason
Not violence.
to create. There has to be a reason to contradict.
Right.
There has to be something.
There has to be something. Now, was when he left the palace, did he have that intention that I'm going to go and like fight with these Brahmins and like stop these yajnas?
Or convert or whatever.
No.
His purpose was not that.
No.
His purpose was self-realization.
Mm.
But having chosen the path of higher spirituality, the additional products was that the society, there was an awareness in the society that yajna is not the path of spirituality. There was awareness, this violence is violence, it's not the ultimate goal of life. So when we make any claims about any religion, we have to be very conscious. The claim of global peace, the claim of morality, the claim of society is a partial claim. It's not the purpose of religion. There is a difference between purpose and assisting, supporting factors. And that, if is clear, it would be very important, because then we will present our tradition with a higher goal. When we teach our kids, why do you want to be Jains, or why do you want to be non-violent? What kind of purpose do we give them?
The best purpose is
The best purpose is not because the animal will die, but because you need to keep yourself pure. There is a difference between the death of the animal and the purity of self. Even if someone doesn't kill the animal will die. Death is a natural product, not natural phenomenon, right? But then, the purpose that I do not indulge in violence, the purpose that I keep myself pure, the purpose that I am not a part of violence is the higher purpose. So, we are not just followers of Jainism. We are leaders of Jainism. Right? We all have responsibility not just to live Jainism, but to send the message in the right manner, right language, right format.
What do you mean by pure? You say we have to keep ourselves pure. What do you mean by pure?
What does pure mean?
completely devoid of any impurity. Is pure.
What is impurity?
Impurity is karmic baggage or anything.
Anger, jealousy.
Anger, jealousy, kashais.
I'll give you another example why I say this. When we went with this delegation with meeting the Pope, again, this is not like no one should quote myself again, okay? It's just my personal feeling. What do you think is the purpose of that delegation going to Pope, meeting the Christian leader and talking about our Jainism there?
It's saying interfaith with this.
Why do you need that interfaith?
To understand your message.
To increase the awareness of our religion.
Right, okay. What I'm also trying to bring to attention is political agenda,
Political, yeah.
right?
There's always.
So, when, for example, if I'm working with the passion of spreading the message of Jainism, and my agenda is political agenda, like I'm working for, at the level of politics, to make sure that I work for Jainism at that level, it's a great effort. I mean, no doubt to it. The impact which comes is amazing. But at the core of it is the soul, the thought of the soul, the thought of spirituality there.
No, I would have thought.
Okay, I'll give you another example. Now I should say Michandukuram to those who have worked for it. Someone has set up the whole room, right? When you were arranging for what? To make sure that everything goes smooth. Is the thought of spirituality or soul there behind this arrangement? So what I'm trying to bring is very simple. We work at different levels. We are all working for Jainism. Some at the political level, some at the social level, like the organization made such a big effort to make sure that the camp runs smooth. And some, there is a spiritual aspect to it. We are all now contemplating about spirituality. So when we are working at different levels, we should not make khichdi. Indians are so passionate about hybrid, right? Creating khichdi. Don't do that. What is political is political. What is social is social. What is spiritual is spiritual. And I think the essence of Acharya Bhikshu's message was this. He said, when you live in a society, you have to serve 1,000 people, right? You serve your parents, you serve your kids, you do what not. Is that spirituality? So when you do that, it is a social effort, it is a social well-being, but do not make a claim, do not label it as this is my spiritual path. Spirituality is to be with your pure self, to live that pure self, to detach from the external stuff. Yes?
By making khichdi, do we not go anywhere? Is that what you're saying? Like the spiritual path has to be kept separate, that time or whatever you put to seva or to family or that has to be kept separate from your spiritual.
See, you have chosen a social life, right? We have chosen a spiritual path, like completely becoming a sadhu. Again, like we are not fully ascetics now. We have our own flexibilities yet. But if you have chosen a social life, you have a family, you have a responsibility of the family, and you take care of it. So when you take care of it, do not, like when you do a job, you have a profession and you do a job, right? When you do a job, you label it as a job, right? You don't label it as a service. So when you do a service, label it as service. When you do spirituality can be with everything. When you do a service with detachment, no fame, no name,
It becomes spiritual.
it becomes, so your detachment is spiritual. You get my point?
But how are we keeping it separate then? Or do we need to keep it separate and not make it khichdi? That's what I'm not
I'll
sure.
give you another example. We were with one family, and she had a guava tree. So there was a person who came for lawning the garden, and when he did the lawn, she had enough of guava which had grown up. So she offered the person some fruits, and he ate the fruits. After some time, she realized that the guava which had grown on the tree had worms in it. She was initially happy, now she is? Right? Very clear. When she was happy, is Goa a living being or not?
Yeah.
But when it came to worms,
They are living beings as well.
so is it really different?
Not getting.
Okay. Goa is a living being. When she offered the guava fruit to the person, she was very happy that she offered something to someone. But when she came to know that it had worms, she felt sad that why did she offer it?
Yes, because there were worms.
Worms.
Yeah.
The question is whether it's worms or the guava, everyone has life. So offering a fruit to someone, is it spiritual?
It's food. It's food.
Huh?
Because she would eat it as well.
It's food.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say
Living,
is
it's a
very
living thing,
simple.
yeah.
Yes. When we do anything for our survival of life, it is not a spiritual act. So do not label that as spirituality. When you serve an organization, it is your passion for Jainism, awesome, that is a spiritual force behind it. But when you're managing it, you're doing a social act. When you detach and do anything of the same, that is just spiritual force behind it. So there is a spiritual force which can go through everything we do. As simple as this. When you're doing it with detachment, that is spirituality. When someone becomes like aggressive and you're still calm, it's spirituality. We are bothering Hasubai a lot of times with emails and phone calls, but he was so peaceful every moment. What is that? That is his spirituality. So when the point is very simple. Let everything be very crystal clear what you do, why you do. Do not go for hybridization or khichdi dish. I hope I'm clear.
So is that your definition of being pure?
Definition of being pure is no attachment, no aversion. It's also another important thing. The means and goals should both be pure. A person is going for war without attachment and aversion, is killing. Is that spirituality? No. The purpose of the act and the act itself should both be pure to make a claim of purity. So, I think I should give a switch to what I say. So when we say, who am I? We have two different ways of saying we are human beings, right? I mean, that's a natural way of looking at ourselves. It's a beautiful quote which goes with what we think. Do you have a soul? No. We don't have a soul. We are a soul. And we have a body. So the difference between that, owning, possessing, and being something is different. So there's a beautiful verse Achashi says next. Atma ki anubhuti mein बाधक एक विकार घटक उभय उसके प्रखर अहंकार ममकार. We are spiritual beings, we are souls, and to experience that soul, what is a hurdle in it? The impurity. And what is the impurity? It's ahankar mamkar, meanness, minus. As simple as this. So if you get rid of this I-ness or meanness or minus, you're pure. You're all pure now? Yes. अहंकार उपाधि का अविच्छिन्न संबंध निरुपाधिक चैतन्य का यह कैसा अनुबंध. What is ahankar? It means ego. Ahankar is a Hindi word for ego. And if we carry ego, what kind of ego do we carry?
Identity.
Identity of?
Whatever.
So it could be identity of my profession, identity of family, identity of organization, personality, society, country, religion. Even the ego that I'm a Jain is an ego. There's no excuse there. So we are carrying layers and layers and layers of faces. Behind these layers, we have to search who we truly are. I have a simple demonstration here. So someone got this glass, and this is a plastic glass, this is a paper glass. When someone got this glass, they did pay for it, right? So when you pay for something, it should be, well, it should work. So let's try and see if it works. If I pour water, will I get anything?
Upside down.
Oh. So the problem is that I had kept it ulta. Let me do it with Siddha. Would anyone like to drink this water? Anyone thirsty here? No one? You don't want to try this? Why?
It's plastic.
It's impure. But then didn't I pay or someone pay for this glass?
Yes.
They did pay for this glass, but yet it's not helping me. Why?
Because the purpose was not to get purity out of that, not to get impure.
Well, So you mean to say that I should have the water with nothing in it, right? So someone can try this? Yes, I think some of you can come up and drink it. It's a drinking water, no problem with that. So I have this glass here, and you would say that this is okay to drink, this is not okay to drink.
Relatively.
Relatively. My other question is, when we pay for the glass, are we paying for the plastic or the empty space it has?
Empty space.
The purpose is to hold the water. So if it serves that, or a fluid, so if it serves that purpose, that is the purpose you bought it for.
So whether I take this glass or this glass, it doesn't matter, you mean to say, right? Why? Both have empty space. So what's important is, when you pay for the glass, you buy a silver glass, a metal glass, a paper glass, or a plastic glass, you're not paying for the empty space, you're paying for the outer body of it. When you buy a silver glass, you pay enough, and you're happy that you paid and you got a silver one. But when you buy a paper or a plastic one, you pay less, and you're still happy that you have a glass. Ultimately, what is important? The empty space. Are we paying for the empty space? No. When we look into our lives as well, we are souls encased in this body. The body is the glass. Some of us are tall, short, thin, slim, fat, black, white. What is it? It's all the outer glass. The empty space, that's the soul, is within this encased body. And when this soul is in this body and it is with these stones here, is it still happy and blissful? We go through the misery. Ultimately, we have to get rid of the baggage and be clear. So the empty space is our space, our existence, our purity. And if we can get rid of that meanness and mineness, we are what we are. When we live in this world, we are struggling for the outer stuff, whether it's silver, plastic, paper, right? And even if it is crushed, can you use it? No. If it is crushed, you cannot use that glass. So the important thing is, you need a healthy body for sure. Even if it's leaking, you cannot use it. The body should be healthy enough to practice spirituality, to keep yourself pure, to sustain life. But then, ultimately, it's about purifying yourself. So the path of spirituality is as simple as this. And when we talk about empty space, right? That empty space, as we souls are, what do we carry as a true nature? What is our true identity? Here I say it's empty space, but we are not empty beings, right? We have something unique within us. What is that unique within us which makes our existence unique, our identity unique? Because though we say the external labels are, we are making it and faking it, right? We truly are something. What is that something?
Conscious vitality.
Sorry?
Conscious vitality.
Conscious vitality. Any other way of defining ourselves?
Part of the higher soul.
Part of the higher soul. Bliss.
Bliss. Bliss.
Mind. There is a quote here, right? I think, therefore, I am. And this is Descartes' statement where he said that he exists. And how does he make a claim? Because he's a thinking being. But if I put you into meditation state, are you thinking? To a point, you might end up where you're thoughtless. You're beyond mind. Mind doesn't exist there. Do you exist? Yes. So our existence and existence of mind is two different things. Mind, you might drop the mind at some point, but you still exist. So the beauty of our existence is we are not thinking beings. I'm using words here to explain your spirituality. Is the words really anything significant for us? This is again an external gadget. Ultimately, we are cognitive beings, knowing beings. The highest power of us is to know and to be in bliss. The beauty of our existence is we can always be joyful. Are you happy today?
Yes.
You could do it better, I think. Right? Are we happy today?
Yes.
Top of
Top of the world.
Top of the
Top of the
world.
world.
So we are on the top of the world because we have this power of knowing and being joyful. And even further, like even not just as souls, human beings have the highest power of experiencing this bliss. There are plants, there are animals who can lead a peaceful life. But the highest experience of joy, the infinite abundant joy, is a beauty which only humans can experience, because only humans have the potential to attain moksha, liberation, or kevalya. So you have the highest treasure anyone can have in this world. It's just unveiling it. So we are here with labels. I think therefore I'm dangerous.
Yes.
So we have to get rid of those labels, and the labels could be many, many. The next thing is, when we talk about the two layers we have, there is the मैं समृद्ध मैं न्यायविद मैं अनन्य आधार आरोपण के चक्र में चलता जग व्यवहार. So the world is running around behind these labels, and the labels could be that I am rich, I am a judge, and I am the foundation member of this, or I am the foundational, I'm the key person in this project. We keep on adding labels, and there's a beautiful verse which we say that the world is still existing without Ram. We had this utopian kingdom of Ram, where when Ram existed, it was believed that it's the most beautiful land, most peaceful people, everything was all awesome. And then when Ram left, people thought, how would the world survive now? But the world still survives. So nothing stops without anyone in this world. Does it help you?
Yes.
So when you think you're a very key person in your family, at the end of the day, you might show it to your family members in the daytime, but at the end of the day, when you go to sleep, make sure that you realize everything will be fine even without you. We are important, and our importance has different, our relationship with the world is a little different, and we'll talk about that. I'll actually jump into biggest lie of the life.
To believe that this body is me.
To believe this body is me, it's a very good statement. I'm trying to talk, this is a very true statement, but I'm also trying to bring something which we experience in the day-to-day life. I talked about me, and now I'm talking about mindness. If someone tells you I love you, I think this is the biggest lie of life. Why?
Oh, you disappointed us.
You know better than this statement, you know better than me. When someone says I love you, what does love mean? वो 7 जन्म के संबंध और पता नहीं क्या क्या करते हैं आप, right? वो 7 फेरे. We think we are there for each other, but is this true? No one is there for anyone in this world. Everyone comes with their time and leaves with their time. Even when we look into the Rajul and Nemi's story, they were bonded for many, many lives. But at some point, what happened? Neminathi left for his spiritual path. Did he take a moment to go to Rajul and say, why don't you join me? No, he was least bothered about it. Come on, you've lived for 7 lives together and you don't take a moment to say,
Bye.
Is it worth that love? 7 lives, wasted it.
I think it helps with human emotions. That's what it is.
So I'm very honest here. I'm not talking about your social goodness which this statement might carry and keep you all happy because you might need it. So I don't say don't stop using it. Don't say Samaniji told us that this is a lie I'm not going to say it. Please don't do that. You'll stop my business here then. But the truth is, go by the reality. The reality is everything has its own life. The relationship we are with has its own life. It has its own time period. Everything after the time is here. There was a mother, she conceived, she gave birth to a baby. And the whole time of pregnancy, she was so passionate about that. I mean, both. The couple was very passionate. Their first child, they had beautiful dreams. She took care of herself so well that she wanted to make sure that the baby comes out to be like healthy and fine. When the baby was born, the doctor said that the baby would not survive. The baby had some such kind of disease that the baby might die in a day, 2 or 12. And after the 12th day, the baby left. The mother who was thinking every moment of 9 months about that baby, what's her status now?
Suicidal.
It's very tough. Why? Because she had created a world around herself that this is my child, I love my child, I'll play with the child, I'll take care of the child. That mindness, that bond she created. But did the baby survive with that relationship, with that bond, with that commitment? No.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's a fact. It's not a lie. But the world is, we are all in it, where we need these things to survive. So how do we separate it? We know the truth in one hand, it's the ultimate truth, but we have to live with everything, and it's a survival tool. So where do we stand? Being in this society, being surrounded with everyone, being part of this structure, the fabric, how do we merge the two?
When you run a business, there are employees and the owner, right? I mean, there's one who runs the whole business, and then there are a few people who actually are part of that project. The person who is an employee, at the end of the day, the person works for like 7 hours, 9 hours, or 10 hours a day. At the end of the day, he goes back home, sleeps well. He doesn't carry home the project. But what about the person who owns the business? He carries. Now, it's the same thing with our lives. Are we employees or the owners? If we own anything, you will carry that for 24/7. Whether it's a family, any relationship, even the kitchen, whatnot. But if you become an employee, saying, okay, for an hour I spend cooking, I do my job, initiation. Acharya Mahapragyaji composed a lot of scriptures. He did a great job in commentaries and stuff. And that hard work with his traveling on foot, when they travel on foot, it's not an easy job. You find houses with broken windows and chilly nights. It's not easy. With that, with so much of work about the congregation, with so much of responsibilities for the devotional people coming to him, how he would work. If it's the time between 2 and 2:30 for this work, they would sit for it. They would do, as soon as it hits 2:30, whether the sentence is half written, half word done, stop the pen there. Nishesham. The word is very beautiful. It's called nishesham. Nishesham means I have done what I had to do for now. No more to worry about it.
Become an employee.
Become an employee. In traditional language, we say that if it's a mother taking care of the child, and the nanny, I don't know what you call here, like the person who would take care of the
Nanny.
child, the
Nanny.
nanny. So it's nanny taking care. She does take care very well. I mean, she is careful about the child. She wants to groom the child. But when she's done the job, does she think of living with the child forever? Does she expect anything from the child? No. She does her job very well, but with detachment, knowing very well that this is only for a short time.
But doesn't this detachment also can create issues? Because, like, if I'm detached with my children as they're growing up, or have maintained a level of detachment, they would not experience attachment. So they would find the world very different to,
Deal with,
yes,
to live in.
yes, so, so changing something somewhere. So, and if we are all to follow that, yes, it will make a huge impact, and then maybe everyone will. So where,
One thing is very clear here. Certain things, either you learn it, pick the lesson early enough, or it comes to you with the experiments of life. When this mother, she lost the child, like there's another case where a son grew up very well, ready to jump into business, an accident happened, he died. Mother and father, mother was very spiritual and father was not spiritual. But when this shocking thing happened, there was a switch. The mother, she gave up her faith, the father experienced the truth of life. So the truth of life can come to us through experiments, through shocks which the life gives us. And again, it all depends how we pick the lesson. In Acharang, there's a beautiful verse, जो बंधन का कारण है वही मुक्ति का कारण है. The cause of bondage is the cause of liberation. It is how you pick it. A person realized that he was diagnosed cancer, life changed. The perspective towards life changed. The ego, the mindness, the running around, the power politics, everything dropped. Why? You realized at the end of the day, I'm here for a short period. Ultimately, when I have to give it up, why not today? Right? The truth is there. We know it at certain level, but to understand at a deeper level, we are all not ready. We are not walking on the same ground. We all have different levels of spiritual experience, spiritual growth, and we are heading at our own pace. So our journey, we are in different ladders and with different speeds. So when I understand very well about this, why doesn't my spouse get it? No. Why doesn't your child get it? Why don't they understand it? It's not going to happen because we are walking different pace and at different levels. Yes.
Is it possible to develop yourself to such a point where you're detached, you can live in this world and be detached, where if somebody close to you, a son or daughter or someone, does die in a horrible accident, that you can actually be detached from that?
Yeah. So basically the point is day-to-day life, there is an attachment, there is a bond. Forget about even the word attachment, there is a bonding. But suppose your spouse gets angry and mad, how do you deal with this? Do you carry that anger of the surrounding with you for a while or for a shorter while? Do you let it go sooner or later? That is where you would say the true experiments of spirituality. If I'm able to drop it quick enough, that is my power of spirituality. Right? So I'm not, though the truth is, we are not here Bhagwan Mahavir, right? So we are in this world. Not just you, even we as Samanijis, we are in the process of growing spirituality. But the point is, what we have learned as a spiritual message, do we have the capacity to implement it, live it to different degrees at different times? So, the reason why we present the higher purpose is so that we do not pollute the purpose. The purpose is higher. The goal, we should not diminish our goal because we cannot accomplish it. Like for example, no one can attain liberation in this era from this land. This is a claim which is a Jain philosophical idea. Does that mean that we say that the purpose of this human life for us is to be peaceful beings only? Purpose should never be pushed down. The bar should be kept high enough. The problem with Buddhism is this. We talk about Buddhism as a religion of moderation. But can that path of moderation eventually end up into liberation? You have to practice it to the fullest some point or the other. Bhagwan Mahavir as well gave both paths. Path of moderation, path of extremism. You chose the path of moderation when you became a Shravaka and Shravika, right? You said, okay, I'm going to practice it, I'll be vegetarian, I'll be practicing, I'm not going to go for like extreme violent business, this. What is it? It's moderation. And then from that moderation, you try to grow yourself to different degrees. But then Bhagwan also said that there is this path of ascetic life, you can detach completely. So he had very clear theory that we have different potencies. And to accept this theory of different potentials is, I think, one of the most beautiful things about Jainism. If you look into other traditions, there is just one standard thing. 10 commandments, 10 commandments, whether it's you, me, or anyone. No. Bhagwan said we are different. We practice at different levels, and you can draw a line for yourself. So that openness, that flexibility which Bhagwan gives to us, of you can practice to your degree. Again, he very clearly says, if you do not practice to the degree or the potency you can, even that is sinful. Which means if you can meditate for 10 minutes every day, do not cheat yourself by not meditating. Right? So if you can, go for it. Do not deceive yourself. Do not hide your potentials. He says that. So hiding potential is also not appropriate. And further, when love ends into detachment, we look into even the life of Bhagwan. I think we just closing up with this. I'll give you one more example of this extreme case. Bhagwan Mahavir was about to liberate. Gautam Swami was not nearby around him. He had sent Gautam Swami far off. He knew that he's going to liberate. By the time Gautam Swami came, Bhagwan was no more there. Bhagwan had lived with Gautam Swami for many lives. He knew that he was his one very devoted to Bhagwan himself. First disciple of Bhagwan. But did Bhagwan wait for Gautam Swami? No. The truth is, he had his own journey, he left the world. Even for the most first disciple or most devotional person, Bhagwan was not there physically present. But with his physical absence, he made the biggest impact which he could not make with his physical presence. What was that? Gautam Swami realized when Bhagwan left with that detachment, well, what am I doing here? Crying. What is this? That switch which came, the detachment which came to him in seconds, it didn't come in many years. And there was Keval Gyan waiting for him. So the truth of life is this. Everything which comes has to go. We are all bonded, but it is all a temporary bond. The relationship is just for give and take. There is something we have had, past karmic exchange, which is still not taken care of. We are taking care of it now. So realize this truth and live with it. There is this me and mineness which is going to go around our life until our last breath. We cannot drop it completely, but try to detach from it when time comes. When there is this struggle of life, pick that, grow from there. live with the truth that everything is momentary, everything comes, everything goes. It is everything what is coming. I again repeat the statement, everything can be for your spiritual upliftment or your spiritual decline. So it's up to us how we pick the message. So the one of the most beautiful, you see these lines, right? They look not straight. Why is it not? Is it actually not straight? It is straight, but it appears to be not straight. Why? The illusion is of the background. The black and white boxes, the attachment aversion we carry, creates a problem, an illusion of life. In the same case here, is the same picture? Is the truth of life? If you turn around, it becomes the other one. So do not hold to anything, friends. It's just everything is transitory. I'll actually, one of the beautiful words which I have it here, I wanted to sing that and close up. मैं हूँ खेद पर जब जाता है ध्यान, संभव बनती है तभी आत्मा की पहचान. So when we have this realization that I exist and I am, the difference between I am and my existence, the moment you realize that, that is the experience of soul.
Samaniji, one question. When you had the organization chart there, you had the family there, organization, professions, and then you had religion on the top there, and then you talked about levels. So is it ego in ourselves to call we are Jains?
Yeah, to live Jainism is different and to have the ego of Jainism is different, right? So we practice Jainism as because we are passionate about non-violence. And when we look into the scriptures, the message which Bhagwan has is amazing. Like, because we've learned a little bit of other traditions, religions as well, the depth, the vastness which the Jain text has is huge. It's way beyond any religion. But then the ego that, oh, we are Jains, that you have to drop it. It is to live, not to be egoistic about. Because the moment you have the ego, you will look down into saying, these are Christians or these are Islamic. No. The beauty of Jainism is we respect everyone. But again, respect doesn't mean that you practice what they say, you respect their existence as human beings.
Comes in there.
It's their existence we respect. We do not interfere in their belief system, but we do not say that there is a difference between interfering and believing in their belief system. So we as Jains are non-intruders. We are not violent people. We respect their existence. We do not interfere their belief system, but we live as the beautiful blessing which Bhagwan has given.
So is it in ego to have a temple? Obviously Theravada don't have a temples and idols, whereas Svetambars and Digambars have temples. So is that building a temple, is it an ego of Jainism?
Again, there's not like anything has many aspects to it. When you construct a temple, Jainism, survival of Jainism has again different aspects. One, the key, of course, foundational thing of Jainism is the spiritual upliftment of every soul. But the tradition to go on, these temples actually create history. And that history might show your presence back. Like for example, if we have in Pawapuri and other places, the places and pilgrimages related to Bhagwan, it just shows our identity. And our identity in the history actually makes a difference, not for a spiritual path, but in the society. So it has a social significance. If we look into Mohenjo-daro and Harappa excavations, there's a big struggle going on. Whom does it belong to? Some says it is a Jain-related civilization. Some says it is the Hindu-related civilization. So the debate is going on. So these historical places or the temples is for social identity. It is to support the spiritual thing. Like for example, Hasubai reserved this hotel and made all arrangements. The purpose is for sure our spiritual session. So the spiritual sessions we had it's the most beautiful part of it. But to make that happen, there is a social construct. There is social facilitation. So that is needed. We are, like you have a dual role, right? A social obligation and a spiritual path for yourself. What I was trying to say, do not mix them. What is social, but then I do not deny the significance of social facilitation in the making of,
And there is an overlapping, of course.
overlapping is an internal state of your being. Religion is not like an outer ritual. What you experience inside, what you think inside is your spiritual self. Your detachment, your humbleness, your calmness, your stress-free situation, that is your spiritual beauty in the whole process as well.
Thank you. No, madam.